So I have a lot of actors who take my producing course, and I encourage that because I started as an actor and it was a fabulously transformative thing to start producing because I started to cast myself and I didn't have to do cheerleader number 3 and have like a 0 to 1 line that meant absolutely nothing. Anyway, that's a whole other topic, but I think this came from an actor, maybe, I don't know. But it's still a question. So I'm curious to know in a major film, are the actors paid on a profit basis or on a flat fee? And are there any advances given to the actors in big budget films? So, and the reason I think this is an actor asking this, who's taking my class for producing, is because I think they're asking if they should be paid in a big budget film. And big budget, again, is it blockbuster big? Is it a million, which sounds big, but might not be big based on other factors? So saying big budget, it needs to be a little bit more specific, but generally, well, my answer is yes, all of those things. If it's a big budget film, and the thing is, so this is not something, there's so many ways I want to approach this. If you're a non-union actor working on a big budget film, you will most likely be working through an extras casting call, or maybe you were brought in and auditioned because you have a unique characteristic. And all of this about advances and about a profit basis and a flat fee. If your role is just like a walk-on for a day, or you're playing the waitress, or you're carrying a tray of, I don't know, or you juggle and you say something to, like, I'm thinking there's a scene of Game of Thrones during the Purple Wedding where there's a bunch of actors who come in to perform at that wedding. And they have lines, but they're probably not profit sharing in Game of Thrones because they are... they're there for the day for a very specific purpose, and there are contracts for that within SAG. And so you have to research SAG, and there's very specific, depending on how many days you're on, if you have lines or whatever. And so from the producing point of view, that's a whole SAG thing. And usually if the producer is working at a big budget level, they know the rules and they're held to those rules and those minimums. And if they are, working on an ultra low budget or low budget, there are different rules, and you can go to SAG Indie for that. Now, if you have a main role in a big budget, that changes the consideration for profit sharing and everything. And quite frankly, if you have just gotten a role, then you have a lead in a big budget movie and you have no agent and no manager, go get one, because they will help negotiate for you. And that is the purpose of having an agent. That's their job. And that's why they take 10%. Manager, they're more to guide your career, but we're getting off on tangent here. It's more about, okay, so here's, so I'm arguing from both perspectives. So producer, I am going to try to I don't want to lose my pre-production budget. So I'm going to not want to do that. But if I want to get an actor who's like an A-list, or your agent starts saying, hey, can we have profit sharing? Or, I don't know. There's so many ways to structure a deal that it really depends. I will caution you that if it's truly a big budget, profit sharing, unless you're an A-list and you have the most kick-ass agent ever, you're never going to see that, because the budget always ends up being whittled away. The profit of profit sharing, I encourage you to go do a search of like big budget films that made tons of money, but then it was budgeted out. I'm going to try and find some case examples, but generally a lot of profit sharing doesn't happen because of like office expenses or these random expenses. So if you're producing, it's advantageous. I've had in deal memos where you get profit sharing, as a crew person, and here's your salary, and if we make this amount, then you'll get some profit sharing, in it. And you go, oh, that's nice. But, I never really think that that's going to happen. If it does, that's lovely. But if it doesn't, I'm not holding my breath, okay? So yeah, you can write that into any deal as a producer and to sweeten it up a bit. And sometimes it's just a nice thing to do because it creates people are maybe more invested in the movie. But it's unlikely that there will be profit sharing, even on a big budget, the way things seem to be going at the box offices and VOD and all that stuff. So don't count, I'm still circling it as an actor and as a crew person. Yes, you can have that. You can definitely have, but most of it is a basic fee, a flat fee, and maybe profit sharing in the end. That's probably how you're going to do it. But really, if you're talking in terms of actors, go to SAG. They can answer these questions for you, and you need to be more specific about your budget and where you expect this big budget movie to go. And in that note, I will talk to you tomorrow. Okay, have a good one.